Was good, what's up? Inakwanga was good ama what's up? Was good, my people. Was good. Welcome to the More Power to You podcast with myself, Miss Ngaiwa. Welcome to this episode, and believe it when I tell you that I did make this one. Of course, niko hapa. It's me. So, I hope your week has been well. I hope ilianza vizuri. If not, tomorrow is a new day, you start afresh, yeah? So, Mimi, I hope you have been well, my peeps. Mimi, it's been trashy, guys. It's been the ghetto. I turned a year older last week. Hey, I think nafaku petition for the number of years that I have turned today, like to reconsider, we start afresh from, tuseme, 20, 23. Yeah, tuanzie 23. But well, it's the life I was given, so might as well live it. So I hope you guys have been well. We have been doing the Busy Neighbor series, and as we come to a conclusion, I just want to make it clear that all the stories that I shared, all the experiences that I shared was a way to learn through other people's experiences. Sometimes we don't have to go through some things, ama sometimes you might see something coming and it was the same thing that was happening to someone and you would know how to cope with it, find your own way, cultivate your own way of coping with it. So I was not randomly attacking people or coming against some type of people, but I was just sharing people's stories and people's experiences, not story, people's experiences definitely with their consent so that we may learn, take something out of it. So, I don't know. Now, I'll just finalize. I said I did say last time that this would be the last episode of the series. What is to come is yet to be a surprise. Hopefully not just to me, even to you. Just kidding. But today I want to talk about the brother and the sister. And for the brother, I'll talk from the sister's perspective, because definitely the sister can't easy sema directly ama exactly from the mind of the brother. But today, the episode will be about the brother and the sister. Still, the last episode of the Busy Neighbor series, definitely learning from other people's experiences that we may know better how to cope with probably similar situations or be able to assist someone when we see signs or things that work the same way. So I'll start with her perspective of her brother. So they grew up, for a short while with her brother until they didn't anymore. They had to separate, go different ways because the main caregiver, their main caretaker had just their main caretaker had passed on and their father had taken off while she was a child. But when their main caregiver was around, her brother used to be so, to her she seemed that like he was the most stubborn human being. That one person when anaambiwa don't do this, but he'd just go ahead and do it anyway. He would be that one person who probably would take care of her when they were going to school. And other than that, I don't think there was anything else or anything she remembers. But eventually, when they parted way, she hoped that, they would eventually find each other, meet each other at some point in their lives, I think. But I don't think it eventually happened. But they still, they hold each other in their hearts. But, to her brother at some point was that person she would look up to, going through every struggle that he'd gone through and overcame it. He would be the person mwenye akona connections. You know that one person in your life that if you have, unajua watu wengine you don't know anyone who has connections, but to her, he was that person who alikuanga na connections. When she needed a phone, she knew her brother would give her one or something close to that. To her, he was just that person with connections until eventually I think something changed in his brother. And just sometimes when you never, this is her perspective or my perspective as probably a therapist or a counselor or someone who studied psychology. I think when people go through grief differently, and there is never a set time where someone can say that I'm a grieve enough for their loved one. And to her, according to her, it's like her brother wants their basic caregiver, their original caregiver had passed on. It took a toll on him. Kwa sababu all he ever knew, I think he had spent the most time with their caregiver. All he knew was their sole caregiver. But after she had gone, I don't think he knew how to be himself. And as he tried to maneuver through life, along trying to maneuver through life, something just went, I don't know, something just went wrong somewhere. And to her, it seemed like he now started grieving. He now started wishing that he had help. Or just sometimes, if you've ever come across this saying that firstborns, where did they get direction from? It's like when you're a firstborn, you're just a firstborn. There is expectation from your parents. There is you to lead your siblings to the right direction while yourself are trying to figure out being the firstborn and figuring out life in itself. So to her, it seemed like it caught up with him or to him, caught up with him. Yeah, the grief now. And he didn't know how to manage it. All he could do was drink. All he could do, she suspects he used drugs at some point, but she doesn't know. But all she knows is that he drank himself to probably addiction, if I may remember right. And ikafika point where he just went, I don't know if I would say he went down or just vitu tu zilienda, not looking up to just being there. And in that space, she kind of stopped looking up to him or something just, she never understood why he couldn't just get up and fix it. He was the man. He is a man. That is what men should do. She never understood why he couldn't just get his life together and fix it. But that is not how life works. Life works out for people differently. Life batters or butchers people differently. And whether he is a man or would have been a girl, we never know really how he sees life or his capacity to rise up from whatever it is he is going through. So that is her brother from her perspective. So the sister, I think she spent the least amount of time with their sole caregiver. And she does not really remember having spent time with her brother that much, because once their sole caregiver passed, they were split. So they've never been, living together in one space as siblings. She just saw him once in a while. He'd show up sometimes, bring some stuff to her, or send her money at some point, but there was never that particular point that they grew up as siblings and spent time together. And to her, I think that affected her in a way that she never really bonded with him. But she's weird, according to how she says it. She's a weird human being. She's never known how to form relationships with her family, with people around her. She just becomes her at some point and things just switch and changes. But her relationship with her brother was affected because they never really got the time to grow up as siblings. You see how people say oh, they fought, that you're never siblings if you never fought, if you never quarreled, or when you go on TikTok, showing up in your siblings' room and just doing something random, snatching up their blanket or something. She does not, she never had that. So she never really formed a relationship with him. And until now, she never knows how to look at him, never knows how to just form that, be a sibling, be, you know how siblings are friends, I think. I don't know. Are siblings friends? I don't think so. I'm a weird person. But she doesn't know how to build that with her brother, and she fears that it might be too late to try, because psychology says that you form your full personality at 25. So how do you even add other people in your life while you're already known yourself? I mean, it's possible, but I don't think one has got to do with the other. I don't know. But it's tough trying to learn to do something new after you have just been you. Trying to be by yourself is really hard. But for me, what I got out of this, I don't know how about you, you can just let me know out of it, is that sometimes, first off, grief haina time lapse, like hakuna a period in time where you'll just say okay, I have grieved enough, so let's move on. And also, relationships, people are weird, personalities, that this is my observation, this is my opinion, that personalities tend to inform how relationships, how friendships, how relating with someone will turn out. Kwa sababu there are those people who will just be your friend. Yes, you're friends, ama you relate, but you don't really talk as much. Or there's this thing that people talk about, family, like it's everything. But to her, she'd never understand what that means, what that really means, kwa sababu she didn't grow up with her sibling enough to know that we are everything to each other. Definitely, she does not know her brother's perspective. If he holds her in the highest regard, or ile sibling, my blood, I love you to death, if there is something like that amongst siblings. But she'll never understand that aspect of relationship because of the distance and circumstances and all those things. So I think trying to build yourself and people around you mainly somehow depends on your personality. And sometimes people would never understand that. People would never understand your experience, how you grew up, how you relate with people. It's just, to them, it's automatic. And since you're not doing it, you are just not doing it out of not wanting. But really, experiences shape us, personalities inform how we relate with other people, and give people chance to be them, find them. I know the world is not that iko that willful that itakupatia opportunity ya kujipata or to do things, make, I mean, watu husema when you're young you have the opportunity to make mistakes and learn from them. But sometimes I feel like the world is kind of unforgiving. It doesn't wait for anyone. You grow up either way, whether you're mourning, whether you're grieving, whether whatever happened to you happened, but life has got to move on. Well, this was a pretty short episode, which if you ask me, might have been all over the place, but I hope you got something out of it. Well, I hope you do enjoy the rest of your week. It has been myself. Remember to subscribe, yes, kwa YouTube. Remember to log in and listen from all podcast streaming platforms. That would be Castbox, Spotify, Apple, kuna Google Pod, yeah, all of those. Listen to it, and also share. If it speaks to you, you can also speak to other people as well. Well, it has been myself, Miss Ngaywa. We see each other on the next one. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. Bye, 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 bye.